Welcome back to the Versus Gravity podcast, guys. In this very episode, we're going to be talking about one of the major pitfalls when it comes to sticking to your plan and why, one, your plan is shit in the first place and how that ultimately relates to you not being able to stick to it and really just not getting the results that you maybe want, the results that we tried to do maybe, 4 or 5 years ago. Major clients. So yeah, this is, I reckon, like a really informative video. So definitely make sure you watch this one to the very end. So let's just get into it. So I would say, what do you think is one of the main reasons why people kind of fail in the first place?
I think, to be honest, when we speak to people, on a daily basis, or whether it's our clients or even looking at our own journey, right? I would say that the biggest thing that people, or stops people from getting the results that they want is their plan isn't actually something that they can consistently stick to.
Yeah.
Right. That is the number one thing when it comes down to building a plan that delivers results. It's not about whether it has the perfect workout, the perfect X, blah, 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 whatever, right? Those things matter. Of course they do. But if there is no way that you can consistently repeat that plan over and over again, day in, day out, it's useless.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the biggest thing. The second thing really is that, what I said before, which is the plan actually doesn't deliver the results that they want, right? So if, for example, your plan is to lose weight and you want to burn fat and you want to get in shape and look like a Hollywood movie star, then doing tons of cardio is not going to get you the results, right? Because cardio is going to help improve your cardiovascular health. It might improve your fitness. But if it's going to give you a six pack and, bulging muscles, it's not going to do that because it's not the right plan. So those are the two things. And the third thing really is when people have a plan, they look at it and they build it out for a week. Is that plan actually, scalable, right?
Yeah.
Can you progress that plan past where you kind of built it in? And if you don't have something that's predictable, a system that actually predicts where you can go from week to week, then of course your plan is going to be short-lived, right? It will last for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. You'll get quick results, but you won't be able to sustain them through the long term. And we're all in this to build physiques, mindsets, and obviously our lives that have longevity, not just data.
Yeah. I was also say like a point even kind of before it comes to like structuring your plan is actually like knowing what exactly you want. Because I could say, I want to get in shape, but getting in shape doesn't fucking mean anything. Like exactly what do you want to achieve? If you can't tell me exactly what you want, how am I or how are you supposed to execute your plan to the end of it? It's like going to university, right? You know what subject you're studying. So your teachers can extrapolate that, right? Firstly, you need to learn this. They've got a predictable system for scaling it, and they can tell you exactly what to do on a consistent basis. If I rock up to uni and they're like, oh, what do you want to do? I want to get a master's. What master's in what, mate? You need to tell me exactly. And that can be quite hard. I think if you can't vocalize or even visualize, I think visualization is a key aspect. If you can't visualize your plan, how do you expect to get there in the first place? So be specific with your goals. Don't just say, I want to get in shape. I think you'd be better off saying, say, if you're on the larger end, say I want to lose 8 kilos by XYZ.
Yeah.
For me, it was the opposite. I was super skinny, right? And I'll be honest, when I first started out, I didn't kind of technically have an end goal in mind. I just kind of did it because you were doing it or whatever. But then guess what? I didn't really see amazing results. As soon as I was like, right, this is what I want to achieve. I want to achieve a 50 kilo pull up by then. I actually think my kind of discipline in training really skyrocketed when we were training for Body Strong. Because we had a competition, we had an end goal in mind. I knew exactly what to do. And then because of that, because I've got point A and I've got point B in mind, I can try to build the perfect plan into that. And obviously, I think what we'll mainly talk about is consistency. So how do you build consistency? How do you build, or even before that, fuck motivation. Number one thing, motivation's nothing. Motivation comes and goes. Motivation gets you to wake up at 5 a.m., does the cold showers for 1 week. It does not. All these people that you see waking up at 5 a.m., doing the cold showers, doing this, how we beat our physiques, it wasn't motivation, it's discipline. And the only way you can build discipline is with consistency. And it's extremely unsexy. And you might be thinking oh, it's just fucking boring, I'm not doing anything. But something as simple as going for a walk every day.
Yeah.
Drinking 4 glasses of water. That's where the fucking change happens. It's
100%.
not doing the crazy things that you can't stick to.
That's exactly the same approach that we've taken. This approach that gets our clients the results, right? It's the reason why they're able to get results in just 90 days.
Yeah.
When we say get results in 90 days, it's not a fallacy, right? The reason why we're able to deliver that is because we look at, like Sam says, the simple stuff, the unsexy stuff, getting up at a reasonable time every day, right? Going to bed at a reasonable time every day, making sure you're drinking enough water, making sure that you're walking 5,000 or even 3,000 steps if that's all you can manage, right? But I want to cycle back actually to one thing that you said, which is really pertinent when it comes to figuring out what you want to do. Like Sam said, you need to know why, right? And the easiest way to kind of objectify that is make it smart. So a lot of you people in corporate, right, you'll know what SMART goals are. I don't have to spell it. I'll spell it out. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right? If you can make your goals SMART, then you have a much bigger chance of achieving it, because suddenly you've been able to rationalize how, why, when, and what you're going to do. But coming back to what you said, Sam, about being consistent and building discipline over motivation using simple things, that really is the crux of a good plan.
Yeah.
You can have the best coach in the world, right? Who is the specialist in, let's say, handstand push-up, right? But unless you can stick to their plan, it's a shit plan.
Yeah. What was it like I said? We literally just filmed another video on this, which would be worth checking out. But the best plan is a plan you can stick to. And even like we had a client, obviously we're not going to name who, so normally we prescribe 3 days because 3 days is literally all you need. It's the most efficient kind of time frame as well, because it allows you to do all the other things. So most of you don't want to lead the lives that like gym heads or gym addicts go to, right? Most of those guys, by the way, are in the gym 6-7 days a week because they like it, not because they have to. You can get just as good results in only 3 days. So that's kind of like the most efficient time frame, like in and of itself. And this client was struggling with 3. So we said, look, like there's if you do 3 1 week, 2 1 week, 3 1 week, 1, it's like you're fucking yourself up. You're not building any consistency. You're not building discipline. So what did we do? We literally dropped him down to 1 day a week. Now you guys are probably thinking like, oh, these guys are shit PTs making them train 1 day a week. But what we're building is the foundation, the consistency, the discipline, so that, by the way, towards the end of the program, or not even like halfway through, he was doing 3 days. Like it took us literally like 2 weeks for him to build that consistency of 3. Yeah. But by the end of the 90 days, what we've given him is we've given him a new kind of outlook of life, a newly built form of discipline, so that then he never needs us ever again. Yeah. And that literally started with just working out 1 day per week. And it's my biggest thing. People go 0 to 100 way too much. When I tell people, it's like, mate, start fucking small. Literally 1 day a week. If that's all you can do, start 1 day a week. If you can't do 10K steps a day, do 1,000. Yeah. But build upon it. It's all about consistency. The building upon it is, again, there's a very simple model that's been circulating. And in fact, actually, we've talked about this in another video as well, is the 1% every day, right? And actually, a different client of ours, we were able to use the 1% method every day, and it's worked incredibly well. It's literally been, I think, 2 weeks since he started doing it. And the one thing that we asked him to do was increase his step count by 1% every day. Right. So he started with 4,000. The next day he had to do 4,040. Right. And then basically he compounded 1% every day. And then he messaged us and said, guys, this is the easiest thing that I've done. Like it's not a big ask, right? It really isn't. And you can pick anything, any habit or working out or nutrition. Obviously nutrition's a bit harder to quantify, but if it's something like walking, something like number of glasses of water you've had per day, or maybe number of reps you've done, if you increase that by 1% every day, you will see, as the model suggests, a 40x return if you were to do that for every day of the year. But of course, you don't have to do that for every day of the year, because as you get better at doing something, you'll be doing more than 1%. Yeah. Right. And that's the beauty of it. Well, it's why if you look at our personal transformations, like any of you guys watching this video who've known us kind of 2018, everyone says like, wow, like you guys look great. And yeah, obviously that's what we built. But the biggest thing that we've built is the discipline. Like you knew me at university. Like I was extremely undisciplined, right? My parents let me do kind of whatever I wanted as kids. As a kid, didn't really have to work for much. Stuff came quite naturally, which in and of itself was useful when I was studying. But then when it comes to the real world where you need discipline and you need to stick stuff, man, I was shit. How many times did I pick up skateboarding, all these skills, all these hobbies, let it go, and I'd pick it up because as soon as it got tough, I didn't have the discipline. What did I have? I had motivation. So, but then from just sticking to exercise or just sticking to these things on a daily basis, for me, it was like the diet. I found diet quite hard to stick to, but what I didn't find hard was to just focus on one thing. And that one thing was just eat enough protein. That's it. Fuck the calories, fuck the sugar. Like literally, I was like, I don't care what I eat outside until I get my like 150 grams of protein, then I'm cool. I'm pretty sure Alex Hormozy, which most of you should know, even he says, right, as long as I've hit my protein quota, I don't give a fuck where the rest of the calories come from, whether it's from cake or it's from salads. But I built the discipline, and that for me is the biggest change. When I look at myself pre-2018, I don't look at myself as like, oh, the skinny Sam. I view myself as the undisciplined.
Yeah.
Sam, the Sam that wasn't able to stay consistent, the Sam that always gave up on things. And ultimately, what did that equate to? Looking like shit, feeling like shit, being super skinny. So it's on the surface level.
That comes back to basically what you said right at the start, which is, why do you want to get in shape?
Yeah.
Because getting in shape is a vehicle, right? Yeah. It is a means, it's a key that unlocks many different doors. And we can sit here and list off all of those doors, right? Being more attractive, being more confident, having new opportunities in your career, being more commanding just with your physical presence. There's a multitude of different things that you will get from getting in shape, but being in shape is just a vehicle to those things, right? So you have to seriously ask yourself, why do I want to get in shape? For Sam, it was like he's just painted the image there. It's to help him build discipline so that he no longer relies on motivation. He's able to tackle something new and actually follow it through. For me, it was the same, right? Also, I was very insecure about the way I looked, so I had to change that. Right. But for my story, when I started getting in shape, the reason I started was because I was just about to start my corporate job, and I felt like I was basically the lowest version, the lowest form of myself. So I had to change that and build discipline. Now, obviously for me, on my side of the spectrum, it was easier for me to build discipline because I came from a background where I had discipline instilled in me, you know, making sure I did well in my school grades, played football basically my whole life, sport.
Asian parenting versus white
Asian parenting versus I'm not going to say it, you said it.
You do whatever the fuck you want, which is good and bad.
It's good and bad, but like that. So for me, that was a little bit easier. But the whole point behind what we're trying to say is be very super crystal clear about why you're doing it. So that way, when it comes to building discipline, it's super easy because you just have to remind yourself, okay, I'm doing it for this reason.
Well, it's being crystal clear what you want, but you also need to understand that the only thing that's going to get you there is discipline.
Yeah.
So in some way, it's like you cannot escape the fate of discipline. Like motivation comes and goes. It comes and goes for us. You watch David Goggins, right? He's like, do you think I want to get up at 5 a.m. and do all these things? Most people probably watch like, oh, he's chatting shit. It's like humans intrinsically are probably undisciplined, which is why your parents have to discipline you as a kid. Literally, difference in upbringing. Like, my parents didn't necessarily discipline me, probably because they didn't need to. I was a well-behaved kid, did well at school. And I think they just wanted the best for me. But then look what that kind of leads to, like, further down the line. It's like I kind of had to install that discipline myself, which was a lot harder. And the easiest way for me to do it was kind of through being consistent with diet and exercise as well.
Yeah, 100%, man. Training is, like I said, it is the ultimate vehicle. And if you're watching this and you're going to head into the new year and you're like, okay, cool, this video has really motivated me, I'm going to get started in the new year. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Why would you delay your health and forget your health, your discipline, your means to be able to get into that vehicle and open new channels? Why would you delay that to the new year? Because clearly what that says to me is that you haven't actually articulated why it's important to you. Yeah. Because if it is important to you, if you really truly understand why you want to do this, you wouldn't wait, right?
Honestly, after this video, or like pause it now, well, not right now, wait until I finish the sentence, write down for 10 minutes what you want to achieve and why.
Yeah.
So it could be, I want to lose 5 kilos of fat. Why? Because I want to feel more energetic. Or maybe I used to play football and now when I play football, I feel like fat shit and like my knees hurt. Well, then that's a good why. Or maybe I want to get in the best shape possible because I want to make my ex jealous. You need that why, because that why is important, not only for helping you strategize that plan, but the why is important to help you stay disciplined and keeping that momentum going. Because look, there'll be days where, because obviously we say this like, oh, it's just about being consistent, which is, it's not necessarily that easy, right? Like even 10K steps, there might be days when I'm like, oh, fuck, I can't be arsed. But if I'm super clear on my why and I can visualize it, say if it was, oh, I want to make my ex jealous or whatever, I can visualize it. Oh, fuck, when I'm going to get to that end goal, this is going to happen. I watched a podcast with a guy who got into like the SAS, which is like UK Special Forces, right? And he said visualization is what got him to the end. Because when it got fucking tough, and I'm sure there's no other environment in the world where it gets tougher than Special Forces selection. Like we think we have it rough. That's real toughness. Like they probably look at us, be like, you lot of pussies. It was like, oh, he visualized himself putting on that berry and like what it would, not even just visualize in an image, what the fuck would it feel like? What feeling am I going to get that by putting that berry on, looking back and be like, I fucking did it. And that was what helped him when shit got tough and he was like, I can visualize it. I know I can do it. I want that feeling. And it makes easy. And all professional athletes, they all say visualization
100%.
is the best. Like John Jones, he had an interview where he said, I think at 21, he seriously doubted himself. And funny enough, he actually just watched like a TED Talk video, and that TED Talk video changed his life. And he was like, you have to start believing that you can actually do it, and you need to back yourself. And you can only back yourself when you've got a good plan. Like, it gives you the confidence, like, you know what you're doing. Which is why people come to us, right? Because we do that job for them.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you even have to bother? Just come to us with what you want and why you want it, and then we'll do all of it for you. So therefore you're making.
But also, I think that the other thing as well is what we do is we don't just do it for you. We teach you why we're doing these things, because ultimately, right, no one wants to have a coach for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
So our objective, being people who've actually gone through this process ourselves and having coaches ourselves, is we want to get you to the point where you no longer need us, because you are super clear, A, on your why, and B, how to get to your why.
Yeah.
Right? That's the really important part. And I just want to bring this topic in, because one of the other things that's super important, the reason why people fail at their plans, the reason why people fail at sticking to what they want to do, is because they do not have a way of going past week one.
Yeah.
Right? Like, having week one is great. You can replicate week one 10 times. But after a while, week one becomes stale.
Also, after week one, your motivation goes.
Your motivation goes, because you're doing the same thing over and over and over. It gets boring.
Yeah.
Right? So, of course, if you do not have a way of scaling that plan, then you are not going to succeed. Right? This is exactly why cookie cutter PDF programs don't work.
Yeah.
Because they give you a template and they say, right, this is what you're going to do day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Okay, cool. But what about 5 weeks down the line?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Unless you have the knowledge of how to scale that, you're going to fail.
100%.
Right? And that's exactly, again, where what we do with our clients is we teach them along the way, when we are scaling it for them, why we're doing certain things.
Yeah.
And the reasoning for scaling it at that period of time.
Yeah.
Right? Now, look, you've got to be realistic. There are times where you are just going to have to do things that you don't want to do.
Boo-hoo.
You know,
it's just life.
That's just life. You're just going to have to get used to doing things that you don't want to do. But the point is if you have discipline to carry you through it, then you will keep doing it.
Yeah.
But having said that, you should not always keep doing the same thing over and over again, because your body adapts, right? Your body is not a machine, right? It needs new stimulus every so often in order to make sure that it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's where having a predictable system is super important.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have something that's unpredictable, then you are not able to actually make the right plan ahead.
Yeah.
If you don't know what your output is in week 1, week 4, week 8, then how are you going to decide what to do in week 12? Right? So this is where, having a predictable system that allows you to gradually increase the stimulus for your growth, whether that's in a mindset, nutrition, training, whatever. If you have that in place and you're able to push all 3 things at the same time, your nutrition, your training, and your mindset, and scale them at the same time, that's where people make the gains that they want.
Which, by the way, is exactly what we do in our Forge Forever system.
Yeah.
Like a low-key plug, but that's literally what we do. So we address the 3 pillars of transformation: mindset, how to build consistency; nutrition, how to build a sustainable approach to eating; working out how to build an efficient training routine, and couple that with a predictable system for success. It's literally impossible to fail. Like, we have not had a single client of ours that has not achieve their goal. And in the worst fucking case that they didn't, we have a results backed guarantee. So we'll literally continue working with you until you get the results.
Yeah.
So that if you're actually interested in that, shoot us a DM or comment below, or literally just DM Forged Forever, and we'll be more than happy to kind of go into that in more detail. But before that, I want to give a bit more value to the listeners. For you, how the position that you're at now, because people probably look at us and like, oh, we're probably like the most disciplined and motivated people ever.
Yeah.
How do you ensure right now that you stay disciplined? Like, what does a kind of day or week look like, so that people can kind of maybe try and emulate what we do? And then maybe we'll give an example of what we would do if someone that's just onboarded onto our kind of Forge Forever system, like what a kind of weekly schedule might look like.
So if you're asking me about my routine, you'll be surprised to know that I actually probably do less than like 90% of people, right? I do not wake up at 5 a.m. Okay. I wake up between, and this is really important, I wake up between the hours of 6:30 and 8. And sometimes I even wake up later than that, right? So for all of you people out there saying, oh, but like, he's super disciplined, look at his physique, blah, 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 whatever. He must wake up super early. I don't. I actually tried that. When I first started my journey, I tried that. Guess how long it lasted for?
Not long.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it, right? So the point is, my day actually looks very like simplistic compared to what you might think. I get up, I get to work, right? I have my morning coffee as part of my routine, right? I train for 2 hours a day, but that's just because that's what I love doing. Like Sam said before, right? You see these gym, meatheads, the gym bros and stuff, they're in the gym all the time. It's because they love doing what they do. It's not because they have to be there, right?
Yeah.
It's the same with me. I love being in the gym. I love training. So I'm there. I get my training in. I do my work. I eat my food, right? And with my food, it's very simple. I make sure I hit my protein target and that's it. I actually don't count calories. I don't have to, right? And I go to bed at roughly the same time every day and I enjoy my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get home, I watch Breaking Bad, right?
Nice.
And I spend time with my wife and that's it. that's my day.
Yeah.
So when it comes to like, oh, like what does the perfect day look like for Ihsan? It's very simple. You'd be very surprised. And for our clients, who are on the Forge Forever system, their days look just as simple. Their days simply are make sure they drink enough water, make sure that they're hitting their protein target and doing the things that we ask them to do in phases in their nutrition plan, getting their workouts in 3 times per week. Some of them doing 4, the ones who are a little bit more performance driven.
Yeah.
And make sure that they get enough steps in, right? For the ones who are trying to lose fat and go to sleep at a reasonable time.
Yeah. I think that a major point to drilling is that whatever you're trying to achieve should fit around your life. It shouldn't be the other way around. And then that's why people can't stay consistent. Like, obviously, I don't want to keep repeating myself. Consistency is the key of everything. If there's one takeaway from this video, it's consistency, which builds discipline. But if you try and change too much in your life, like if we hire someone, right, and I'm like, XYZ, you're going to have to get up at 5 a.m., you're going to have to cut carbs, you're going to have to do all these things. Look, those things do work, but you're not going to stick to them. So therefore, in the long run, they don't work. If you're someone who's like, oh, I cannot wake up before 9 a.m. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll stick to 9 a.m. and then we'll see maybe down the line if we can maybe reduce that to like 8:30 or whatever. We really don't try and change too much. I feel like I like going out to eat with my friends on a Friday. We're going to leave that in there. We're not going to tell them they can't do that.
Yeah.
Because yes, they probably potentially would get quicker and faster results if they were to just like cut all the bad foods out, cut out drinking. But one, it's not sustainable. It's not enjoyable. So really you'll get results, but at what price?
Yeah.
And the fact is again, consistency, it's sustainable. And throughout that process, you'll build discipline. So really, yeah, if there's one takeaway from this video, start small.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's no point even expanding on that because it is what it is.
It's very simple.
It's a very, very simple concept. And the beauty of it is you give yourself room to grow. There's a school of thought in strength training, right?
It's doing us dirty.
You didn't turn it off, that's why.
That's okay. I'll start from there's a school of thought in strength training. Okay. So there's a school of thought in strength training, which is you do not try and like push your max all the time, right? It's the same concept as to when you're trying to build discipline, right? If you were to put 5 different things in your day, daily meditation, ice cold bath, you got to read five books every week. You've got to walk 10,000 steps every day. You've got to get in a 2-hour workout every day. That is comparable with someone who's like, right, well, I need to train at 90% of my 1 rep max because that's what's going to push me to get stronger, all of that sort of stuff, right? Neither of them really yield the best results.
Yeah.
Right? Both of them lead to burnout. Yeah. And so in strength training, what we like to say is, well, we like to make sure that we can accumulate. We run accumulation blocks, right? We run peaking blocks. All of those things work and they're well founded because of that very reason. We don't burn out straight away. We make the most out of your strength potential and then we're able to really overreach. But you do that overreaching in the tiniest part of the year, right? And the reason is because you can't overreach for the whole year.
Yeah.
Because you'll burn out. So the principle that we're trying to get across to you is it rings true in pretty much everything, right? When you start your new job, and you enter the corporate space, for example, and you've started a new job as an accountant at PwC or whatever, right? Do you think that they're going to give you the biggest accounts to manage? Of course not.
Hell no.
You start you small, you shadow someone for a little bit, right? You attend meetings here and there. You don't actually know what's going on in the meetings, but you listen in, you make notes, and then suddenly you start picking it up. And over the course of the year, suddenly then you know, okay, cool, this is my role, this is what I'm doing, and I'm able now to do things on my own.
So I think one of the main reasons why people have such a hard time with that when they work out is because of ego. They don't want to be seen doing like kind of novices or like beginner exercises. But you need to understand it's like, especially when it comes to stuff like cardio, or like you need to learn to crawl before you can run, right? If you're trying to train for a marathon, you're not going to fucking like, who cares? Oh no, I'm going to be seen in the gym running at speed 4 on a treadmill for like 5 minutes. First of all, no one cares about you in the gym. Like truly no one does. People respect you for being there in the first place. So there's an element of, you're going to have to drop the ego a bit. Yeah, you might be seen lifting weights that you thought are a bit too light for you or whatever, but you'll be doing that with better form than the guy who's just ego lifting. And again, ego lifting, not sustainable. You'll get injured. You'll fuck yourself up.
Unless you're on gear. If you're on
do gear, that's all.
Copious amounts of gear, then you can just keep pushing to
If there's one takeaway from this video, it's start doing steroids. I'm joking.
That's a message sponsored by Versus Gravity.
That's going to get taken out of context. I'm going to get cancelled. Do trend.
But yeah, like, you know, you're completely right. Like, people let their ego get in the way of it, and they want to be seen as the person who's, you know, balls to the wall, like waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning,
It's the
like,
whole
out in the
Instagram
cold.
thing, isn't it? They'll
Yeah,
be
it's
Instagramming
Instagram.
themselves. So, like, they're not even doing, like, fuck the daily lifestyle things. You see, like, oh, like, get ready with me. You know those cringy people that they film themselves waking up, they iron their bed,
So
lemon
weird.
water. It's like, those motherfuckers do not do that shit.
Yeah.
Because the guys that are genuinely about that life, your people like Jocko Willink.
They haven't got time to film it. Like, that's the you really got to ask yourself, right? I know plenty of people are on TikTok and they're watching these stupid get ready with me videos. I think the tag is GRWM or something stupid like that, right? If you actually were doing that, do you think you've got time to sit there and film it?
Fuck no.
No, because if you're doing that stuff, that means you're part of the 0.05% of the population, which is, you are so strict on your time because you've got a million different things to do that you are doing that so early in the day.
Yeah.
Why on earth would you then sit there for half an hour getting the right camera angle, making sure that you're in the right underwear so that you look hot? Like, it's dumb. It's so stupid. So you guys need to really understand this, right? And this is one thing that we're massive on, especially with all of our clients, is cultivate your social media feed. Don't buy into the bullshit, right? Because at the end of the day, that bullshit will basically make it feel like it's impossible to get to the place where you want to be, because you have to do all of those things. You have to iron your bed sheets after you wake up and lay them nicely so there's no creases. I mean,
well, that's the
who does
difference
that?
between an influencer and a coach, right? If you're an influencer, you're basically just clickbait. You're trying to portray a lifestyle that probably isn't yours to get views. Look, as coaches, being honest, we don't give a fuck whether you agree with our lifestyle or not, because it works and we get results for our clients and we get results for ourselves. So for us, it's the results that speak for themselves. It's not whether I get up at 5 a.m., which I don't. It's not whether I do cold showers, which, look, I've done cold showers before. And you know what? I wish I had the motivation to do a cold shower every day. But the fact is, I love fucking being in a warm shower. It's just like
I love not getting goosebumps and screaming.
Yeah. And also, like, a cold shower for me, like, I'm at that point where it really wouldn't add that much to my life because I've built the discipline. I don't need to do a fucking cold shower. I don't need to run every single morning because I know that once I set my mind to something, I'm going to do it. Like, I did a 50k with basically no training. Why? Because I backed myself because I knew that I'd have the discipline. Yeah, I could have trained for it, but also part of me is like, I can't be asked. I actually want to challenge myself. So, like I said, cultivate your feed. Use social media responsibly. And look, we're not telling you to not film the stuff that you're doing, but use it as a form of accountability, right? If you're going to film yourself doing all of these things, make sure you're doing it from a standpoint of like, oh, I'm putting myself out there to hold myself accountable. Yeah. Not like, oh, I'm going to quickly film myself doing a cold shower, but in reality, you stood in that cold shower for 2 seconds and you didn't do it for the rest of the month. So really, you're just a fraud and you're chatting shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not only lying to other people, you're lying to yourself. And the more you lie to yourself, the less like you'll rate yourself. And I think you'll start feeling more depressed because, you know, that's why I think most influencers are fucking deep down, they're depressed because they're having to live a life that they don't truly live and it's not them. And then they start feeling shit about it. I doubt David Goggins feels shit about himself because he is that guy.
Yeah.
Bro's him. He's gonna
Bro
carry
is
those
him.
boats. You're not. Like,
Yeah.
he's done it. He carried those fucking boats.
Yeah.
He went through 3 hell weeks. So he hasn't got anything to prove. So be careful with what you hear online. If it kind of sounds too good to be true, and if it sounds super sexy and all these things, then just be careful.
It probably is. That's the point. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. And that's why, again, really coming back to the whole point is you need to ask yourself why you're doing it, what you want to achieve, be super specific, make it realistic. Of course, the why can be unrealistic for you right now. But the point is as you start to get along that journey, it'll become more and more realistic. And the only way you can do that is by doing things consistently. Right?
So literally write down your goals and write down why you want to achieve them. That's step 1. If you're not willing to do that, click off this video, unfollow us, because we don't even want people that are that lazy that they can't even write down what they want and why they want, because you got other shit to worry about, mate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, that's basically the crux of it. I think that kind of outlines as to the real reasons why people struggle, right? The real reasons why people don't get a plan done. The real reasons why people give up, especially, and look, guys, the new year is coming around, right? Even if you are watching this, you go, yeah, you know what? I actually resonate with all this stuff, but I still am going to wait until the new year. Fine. Okay. If you're going to wait till the new year, at least, like Sam said, at least start writing down what that is. And one tip that I've got for you guys who are going to do the New Year's resolution bullshit, right? Is just pick one.
Yeah.
Like, for God's sake, like, and the number of people I speak to who have like 10, I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to get into the gym. I'm going to get a promotion. Yeah, of course, those are all possible to do in the space of a year. Of course they are. But if you don't have the discipline to even get up and drink the same number of glasses of water per day, how the hell are you going to achieve any of those things? So start simple, pick one.
Well, I'll even jump ahead. The one you should be picking is getting in shape.
That's,
Because when you get in
exactly.
shape, everything else falls out. We've had clients that came to us wanting to just get in shape, and guess what? They actually quit smoking because that was a byproduct of them building the discipline and feeling healthy. And then every time they put that cigarette in their mouth, they're like, I feel like shit. They didn't come to us saying, I want to quit smoking. So the best advice we can give you, because the thing that actually transformed us the most was, as you say, exercise was the conduit. Get in shape, get strong, build muscle, make your ex jealous, fucking whatever it is your goal. It doesn't matter. Like, just do it.
Yeah.
Pick that one goal, and everything else will fall in line.
Good. Well, I think that's pretty much brings us to the end of this episode. So listen, look, if you found this useful, let us know, like, in the comments what you think about what we said. Do you think that we're chatting shit, or do you actually resonate with what we're saying? And like Sam said before, right, if you want to know more about our Forge Forever system, just simply message us Forge Forever on Instagram, or comment it in the YouTube comment section below, and we will be more than happy to sit down and walk you through exactly what that system looks like and how we can help you materialize those goals, those wants and whys, and actually build them towards the results that you actually want. So make sure you drop that comment down there. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we will see you on the next one.